Pete Carroll said, quote, that pass to Isaiah Bonds set the tone for the whole game. And the defense couldn't believe they got to play with a lead. And look at what they did. 10 sacks. 10.
He's looking long. He's got a man. Caught at the 10-yard line. Bonds. He's down to the 1-yard line. It'll be first.
And there's not many guys in the league that can make that throw. So that was a hell of a throw. I hope he can continue to grow and develop for making plays like that, and they'll take it from there.
The Cleveland Browns finally won a football game, and suddenly the whole region is buzzing like something explosive just dropped. People all over Northeast Ohio are sitting around thinking about everything that could have happened if Kevin Stefanski had simply made the obvious call weeks ago. Fans are heated, confused, and honestly tired of pretending this wasn't avoidable. Tony Rizzo has completely stopped holding back. The longtime Cleveland voice is saying exactly what Browns fans have been shouting from their couches since the summer. He's asking why Shedeur Sanders wasn't the starter from week 1, and no one seems to have a good answer. Because after what everyone just watched, the question hits even harder. For the first time in years, the Browns felt alive again. The stadium felt electric. They actually had a quarterback who didn't look scared to throw the ball further than a short dump-off. In his very first NFL start, Shedeur Sanders didn't just survive out there. He delivered real, game-changing throws that sparked the whole team. Even Myles Garrett and the defense were losing it on the sideline like they finally remembered what an offense is supposed to look like. Sanders, he's looking long. He's got a man caught at the 10-yard line. Bonds, he's down to the 1-yard line. The moment that play hit, the entire stadium felt the shift. It wasn't luck, it was skill, it was confidence, it was a quarterback who wanted the moment and didn't run from it. And now everyone in Cleveland is doing the math. They're staring at one of the best defenses in football, a defense that just dropped 10 sacks in a single game. And they're asking the same question Rizzo is asking. How many wins did Kevin Stefanski throw away by refusing to play the rookie who was clearly the spark this team needed?
I want to know how much longer the owner's going to watch this crap. Because the fans have had it. We deserve better. You're worried more about your stadium than you are your football team. That's the perception, Jimmy. There are times teams have a great offense and a bad defense. See Cincinnati for the past 3 years.
Right.
And they don't win. Our team had a bad defense and a bad offense. But this kid played well enough offensively last week for them to get a lead, to play with a lead, and they had a laugher, a rare laugher, where they were up 14 points in the fourth quarter or whatever it was. When have the Browns had a 14-3 lead at halftime? Come on. And the defense couldn't believe they got to play with a lead. And look at what they did. 10 sacks. 10. The kid brought energy. A whole new era. That's because they got a lead. That's because their quarterback took a shot. And the special teams made a big play. And the Raiders suck.
It's a brutal question, but the whole city is thinking it. Let's keep it real for a second. This Browns defense isn't just good. It's elite. They've been shutting people down all year while the offense has been dragging behind them like an anchor. 10 sacks in one game? That's not luck or some fluke number, that's dominance. And all season that dominance was being wasted because the offense couldn't score enough points to let the defense rest or even trust the scoreboard. But this week, something finally changed. This time, they had a quarterback who could actually move the ball. Someone who could extend drives, make key throws, and put real points up. Shedeur Sanders walked into his debut like he'd been there for years and instantly gave the Browns something they've been missing since week 1. Hope. And Rizzo isn't giving out gold stars just because Stefanski finally did what should have happened months ago. He's upset because this move came way too late. The Browns spent half a season stuck in neutral, forcing this powerhouse defense to do everything while the offense looked like a confused group trying to figure out how football even works. That frustration is real and fans feel it too. Pete Carroll even said, sacks, 10. And the media's still trying to make excuses. They keep tiptoeing around the truth, talking about patience and development and acting like the coaching staff deserves sympathy. But anyone watching can see what's really going on. This defense has been playing at a championship level all year, and they finally got someone under center who could match their intensity. You could see the difference instantly. Myles Garrett and Malik Collins weren't just cheering. They were locked in on every offensive play like they finally believed the team had a chance. They were invested because for the first time all season, the offense wasn't wasting their hard work. That kind of energy doesn't happen unless the players feel something real. Let's be honest, the Browns were supposed to be a playoff-level team. They've got the pieces, the defense, the weapons, everything.
Lead at halftime. Come on. Come on. That's because they got a lead. That's because their quarterback took a shot. And the special teams made a big play.
But what they didn't have was solid quarterback play. Instead of trusting Shedeur Sanders early, they stuck with veterans who couldn't move the ball consistently or bring any real fire to the offense. And now the whole season feels like a story of what could have been if Stefanski hadn't waited this long. And here's the topic everyone tiptoes around. The media keeps pushing this idea that the Browns are still going to take a quarterback in next year's draft, like nothing changed. Like Shedeur Sanders didn't just walk in and light up the field. That narrative is still floating around, but fans are starting to push back because they saw what real quarterback play looks like. Now here's where things get even more dramatic. Inside the locker room, there's a quiet tension growing, because players know exactly what Shedeur brought to that game. Veterans are talking among themselves, wondering why it took the coaching staff half a season to give the team their best chance to win. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but everyone knows this decision could end up defining Stefanski's entire reputation. And across the league, coaches and scouts are watching this unfold like a wild twist in a drama. They're seeing a rookie come in cold and instantly lift a team that looked completely lost just a week ago. That kind of impact doesn't just get noticed. It changes careers, it changes locker rooms, it changes expectations. Cleveland didn't just get a spark. They might have found the guy who can reset their entire future. The idea that Shedeur Sanders is just a temporary fix, a simple patch on a sinking ship, is getting louder. But Tony Rizzo is calling that out immediately. He's saying exactly what Cleveland fans are thinking. That theory is complete nonsense. Why would this team even think about drafting another quarterback when the rookie they finally put on the field looks like a real franchise leader? Shedeur didn't just manage his debut. He fired a dart to Isaiah Bond that Pete Carroll himself said shifted the entire energy of the game. Shedeur Sanders made plays that mattered. He brought intensity, confidence, and excitement.
Browns are cool again. Now, do you know what Sunday's going to be like at the stadium?
Pandemonium.
Do you know how many partner requests we had for the suite? Because everybody wants to see Shedeur's first home game.
For the first time all year, the Browns' offense actually looked like something you'd want to watch. And here's the part that makes the whole thing sting for fans. Shedeur Sanders wasn't some hidden gem nobody knew about. He was already sitting on the roster, ready, available. And instead of rolling with him in week 1, the Browns chose to experiment with quarterbacks who simply weren't built for the job. The price for that mistake has been enormous. A whole season slipping away. A championship-level defense doing everything they possibly could with nothing in return. And a fan base that has spent decades watching heartbreak turn into tradition. Cleveland fans have seen every kind of loss a franchise can invent, and this year was shaping up to be another chapter.
Want to see him look, a little sharper. I thought some of the passes sailed on him.
Until Shedeur stepped in and changed the entire vibe. Tony Rizzo isn't buying a single excuse anymore. He's finished with the cautious talk, the let's wait and see speeches, and the constant narrative about patience. The truth couldn't be more obvious. This defense has been elite from week 1, and they've been forced to drag an offense that couldn't score, couldn't sustain drives, and couldn't give them a break. Sunday changed all of that. The Browns went into halftime up 14-3. When was the last time anyone in Cleveland saw that and felt confident? That's what real quarterback play does. It gives your defense something to play for instead of leaving them exhausted and frustrated every week. When your offense actually moves the ball, the rest of the team feeds off it. Shedeur Sanders gave the Browns exactly what they've been searching for all season. He operated the system the right way, took what the defense gave him, and made big plays when it counted. He looked composed, he looked confident, and he looked like someone who belonged in the NFL from the moment he stepped onto the field. Now the entire city is asking the question nobody expected this soon. What happens now? Can Shedeur Sanders actually force Kevin Stefanski to commit to him moving forward? Can he play well enough over these final 6 games to make the Browns rethink their whole quarterback plan? Rizzo says absolutely yes, and honestly, the proof is showing up fast. You don't draft another quarterback when the one you already have is lighting up the sideline, firing up the defense, and giving your team real life again. Why would any team spend another high draft pick on a quarterback when the rookie already in the building is showing he can handle the job? It just doesn't add up. But here's the twist. The Browns have been burned before and everyone knows it. Cleveland has seen quarterbacks flash talent for a few weeks and then completely fall apart when the spotlight gets brighter. They've lived through promising beginnings that transformed into full season disappointments. So yeah, there's caution. There's skepticism. The front office is dealing with the fear of being wrong again. But this situation feels different. This doesn't resemble Baker Mayfield's rookie year where everything was chaos and adrenaline. And it doesn't look like the Joe Flacco miracle run where fans enjoyed the moment but knew deep down it wasn't built to last. This Shedeur situation feels like something that could actually stick. And here's the wild part. Players can sense it too. Inside the locker room, there's a buzz that wasn't there before, a feeling that something real just sparked. Veterans who've seen every kind of quarterback carousel are suddenly paying attention in a different way, watching how the rookie carries himself and noticing how he never flinches in big moments. Even rival teams around the league are starting to whisper. Coaches are reviewing film and wondering whether Cleveland accidentally stumbled into their next franchise star without realizing it at first. This finally feels like a team that discovered their quarterback, but spent half a season refusing to admit it. It's wild to think how long the Browns held back their own progress, when the spark they needed was sitting right in front of them the entire time. And now the real test is coming. The schedule ahead is brutal, with San Francisco waiting this week, a defense known for exposing weaknesses and destroying game plans. That matchup is going to test everything Shedeur Sanders has in his toolbox. And honestly, that's exactly what everybody wants to see. Cleveland fans aren't running from the challenge. They're ready for it. Can Shedeur do it against a top-tier defense? Can he build on what he showed in his debut? Can he prove that what happened against the Raiders wasn't just a one-week flash, but the start of something real? Because if he steps onto that field and plays with the same fire and confidence he showed last Sunday, then Kevin Stefanski is going to be in the spotlight. And not in a good way. He's going to have a lot of explaining to do about why this rookie wasn't the starter months ago. Every unanswered question will come flying back at him. Why wasn't the kid under center earlier? Why did this elite defense have to grind every single week while the offense struggled to put up points? Why were fans forced to sit through loss after loss when the solution was already on the roster? And now look at this team. They're actually fun again. That's not exaggeration, that's not fan bias, that's pure reality. For the first time in 2 seasons, Cleveland football feels alive. Fans are scrambling for sweet tickets, the merch stores can't keep Sanders jerseys stocked, and everyone is counting down the days until Shedeur Sanders walks into his first home start with the crowd roaring behind him. And the craziest part? All of this could have been happening back in September. All this hype, all this energy, all these potential wins could have been stacking up since week 1 if Stefanski had just made the obvious decision. That's the truth. That's the frustration. Cleveland didn't suddenly become interesting. They were built to be interesting all along. They just needed the right quarterback to bring it out. The Browns now have a playmaker at quarterback and a defense playing like they're chasing a championship. If Stefanski had trusted Shedeur Sanders from the start, this team could easily be sitting with 8 or 9 wins right now instead of clawing for respect. But the past is locked in. Nothing can change those missed chances. So now the Browns have one choice: stick with Shedeur Sanders and ride this wave for the rest of the season. The question is whether Kevin Stefanski will actually commit. Will he trust the rookie through all 6 remaining games and finally evaluate him fairly? Or will he slip back into conservative habits the moment things get tough? Because that has been the pattern in Cleveland. Bold talk, dramatic moves, and then sudden fear when the pressure kicks in. Rizzo's done with that. The fans are done with that. Everyone wants to see what this offense can truly become with a quarterback confident enough to push the ball downfield. No more hesitation, no more safe play calls, no more fear of mistakes. It's time to let this kid actually play. So here's what comes next. Shedeur Sanders gets his second NFL start, this time against San Francisco, against a defense that doesn't give anything for free, against a team that will test every read, every throw, every instinct he's developed from college through his first pro game. If Shedeur holds his ground, if he shows growth, if he carries that same energy he brought to the Raiders game, then things are going to get uncomfortable real fast for the coaching staff. Because if he passes that test, Kevin Stefanski will have to answer why it took him half a season to realize what everyone else already knew. The Browns already had their quarterback, they already had their answer, and they wasted months refusing to use him. That's not hindsight, that's accountability. That's demanding better from a coaching staff that has been given talent, resources, and every opportunity to win. Shedeur Sanders proved he belongs in the NFL. Now the focus shifts to Stefanski. Can he develop him? Can he build an offense around him? Can he stop playing scared when the spotlight gets hot? Because if he can't, if this turns into another missed chance, then maybe it's not just the quarterback position that needs a fresh start in Cleveland. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.